In James Cameron's Titanic, a boy and girl from differing social backgrounds meet during the ill-fated maiden voyage of the Titanic.
All right, open your eyes.
We go full ahead! Put your backs into it!
Got everything I need right here with me. I figure life's a gift, and I don't intend on wasting it. You never know what hand you're gonna get dealt next.
Because this is technically a review of the 2012 3D re-release of Titanic, I am not going to get super in-depth about what I think of the film itself, because honestly, I'm not prepared. That would require much more thought, and I'm not prepared for it. However, I will say that I haven't seen it in its entirety in many years. I mean, I watched it years and years ago when I was younger. I catch it on TV once in a while, and I'll just, put it on for the hell of it. But I have not seen it in full in a long time, and I've never seen it on the big screen, because I was, 6 when it came out 15 years ago. And while I joke around and say, oh, Titanic, it's such a long movie, ridiculously long, blah, 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 and you make jokes about it and stuff like that, it is an unbelievable film. Like, incredible. But like I said, I'm not going to get super into it because everybody already knows Titanic. Either you love it or you pretend you hate it. Titanic is Titanic. So the 3D re-release of Titanic, I have to say it's kind of a double-edged sword because in one way, and I totally understand how people feel about this because I feel the same way, I look at it as, I don't want to give them my money for this 3D re-release because that's going to just tell Hollywood, yes, keep doing 3D re-releases, and that's ridiculous. It's annoying, and to spend money on it, you're giving them money, and you're basically saying, this is good, you got the money you wanted, keep doing it, and that's bad. However, after seeing it, I have to say, if you're a fan of Titanic, or if you haven't seen it in years or whatever, it really is just something to see on the big screen. I mean, I don't know how often you can see it on a big screen unless you rent out a theater, but it's really amazing. So, once again, double-edged sword. You don't want to give them your money. But, honestly, if you're thinking about seeing it, forget the pretense of don't give Hollywood your money, blah, blah, blah. Just worry about yourself. Do you want to see it on the big screen? That's your only question. As far as the 3D goes, I have to say, once again, ahead of time, and for other movies, I think, it really doesn't need the 3D. It's not worth it. And I would say, for a lot of it, it's really not worth it because it's just, it's people most of the time. But there are a few shots throughout that are just wow, because it's just such a huge scale. Like when the Titanic is first taking off, I guess, and you see the Titanic and everything behind it, it really, it looks great. But it really comes into play at the end, in the last hour or so, when the ship is sinking. I have a fear of heights, and so when I watch a movie like this in 2D, I can appreciate, okay, that's high up, that's very high up. However, the 3D in this, honestly, gave it such depth that I was like, okay, I gotta back up, like, as if I was actually there, standing at the top of the ship looking down. I mean, it really, really added to it, honestly. And one shot specifically that is in my mind and I can't forget, and I actually said out loud, like, the 3D, like, in the theater, I was, like, shocked, is, when the ship is, I think it was when the ship is starting to go up like this, when it's starting to get sucked all the way down, and you see, like, a lifeboat in the foreground, and the ship in the background, and just the 3D was, I don't know, it just looked fantastic. And by the way, this is a 3D conversion. James Cameron shows you that 3D conversion can work, in my opinion, because it worked very well. And I have to say, the scenes that benefit the most from the 3D conversion are the scenes that are like below deck, where all the machinery is going by and stuff like that. It almost reminded me of Hugo, actually, but it just looked amazing, and you're kind of like just in a trance watching it, because it's like watching these machines pump up and down and stuff like that with the 3D and the depth. It really was fantastic. So, is it necessary? No, it's not. It's the same movie. Do you need to see it in 3D? No. Does the 3D add to it? In some spots, yes, I think it does, like the ones I just said, of course, but it's, it's still Titanic, and it does not add or take away, in my opinion, from the movie. It just is another way to see it. So overall, I really enjoyed seeing Titanic on the big screen again. I probably would have been fine seeing it in 2D, but seeing it in 3D was fine. It didn't take away from it. If anything, it added in a few spots, like I said, but overall, it's the same movie, just with a new way to see it. And once again, ask yourself, do I want to see Titanic again on the big screen? If your answer is yes, forget about the fact that you're giving Hollywood your money and they're going to continue doing 3D re-releases and stuff like that. Forget about it. Don't think about it. Just go if you want to. That's it. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the Titanic 3D re-release. You can let me know what you think of Titanic in general, but like I said, this is really not at all going into that. This is just about the 3D re-release. So let me know what you think of that. Let me know if you thought the 3D took away from it, added to it at all. Do you agree or disagree with the parts that I thought it did benefit somewhat? Let me know if you've seen it in theaters before, if you're old enough that you saw it when it came out, or maybe you went to a special screening somewhere along the last 15 years. Once again, I have not seen it, so I saw it for the first time on the big screen when I saw the 3D re-release, and it was pretty cool. Let me know anything you want about the Titanic 3D re-release, and Leo, take it away.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.